Are you ready?
What is this?
I need help.
A ram air. Oh, come on.
Ooh.
Oh, where'd you go?
That's cool.
She is so fast.
Smell gasoline.
Pro tip right here.
Wow.
On the DL, it's a major bummer. Hope it works. Something went bad overnight.
And cherry bombs.
We got an issue. Train wreck right there.
Skedaddle that off there.
Hello there. To keep the heat off our buns. JB, weld that sucker.
Set the toe and let her go. Okay. Not sustainable.
I'll get things. I'll get things.
So
Not ready for that.
oh, something's smoking.
Why is it smoking in here?
It's just right there. Oh, wow. Welcome back to the Sleeper Dude channel. Guys, we are trying to get our 63 Falcon hardtop ready for Intergalactic Ford Fest. And it's time. We need the car done right now if we're gonna make it. So we were planning on starting this video early this morning, and I came down here and we started the car for the first time yesterday. You saw that in the last video. I thought I heard a valve train noise towards the end of that. So I spent all morning misdiagnosing what I thought was a lifter failure. And we got the intake off of it and the lifter's out, and it was not a lifter. It appears to have been the rocker arms hitting the valve cover. You can see right here where the rocker arms were hitting the valve cover, and that wasn't the only problem. They were also topping out against the poly locks, the nut that holds this down, and hanging the valves open. So we figured out we had no compression on 3 of the cylinders. Point is, I spent all morning working on that just to figure out that the one thing we put in the engine that I was worried about, the super cheap eBay rocker arms, apparently were a problem. So I've ordered a set of stainless steel rockers that are much smaller profile that should not hit our valve covers, and they should be here in a couple days. So as of right now, it doesn't run again. We got all the stuff just sitting on there to keep it from getting dirty, but we got a whole list of things we got to do to get this thing ready to just drive down the road. So our plan is to get this thing driving, get it out on the road for the first time. We got a lot of things to do. We got to get the clutch working, the throttle working. We got to wire in some gauges, run brake lines, bleed brakes. We got a whole lot of things to do. So let's get right to it. Maybe we can get it done this week.
So I was sanding and paint these hood hinges because we forgot to do it while we were doing the engine bay. So I'm gonna put the seat in and stuff, but I gotta drill holes first in the new floor that Dad made. You didn't see that.
I've got to get the throttle and the clutch working because that's vitally important. So I actually bought an aftermarket pedal assembly because I'm converting it to cable style instead of a rod. I would love to have used like a factory style with a rod, but this was a factory 6-cylinder car and it was a completely different pedal assembly. So I'm going to do this instead. So this guy will mount on the floor and it can be clocked in any position. And here's our cable, which appears to be too long.
Now let it dry until the second coat.
I didn't used to use these brackets like this, but anymore, I won't really build a car without them. I used to like try to take some piece of old sheet metal and make something. These are fairly inexpensive. They come with the double return springs that you need to be, you know, NHRA legal. All this stuff is adjustable. They're just so nice compared to, you know, how long it takes to make something that's nice. I would highly recommend if you're doing like any sort of 4-barrel swap car or something, or even if you're using like a 4150 style throttle body, getting something like this. It just makes your life a lot easier. And I just realized I put that on backwards. I'm supposed to edit that stuff out, right?
Yeah, you gotta edit that out.
Okay. You got them in order?
Yeah.
Buckle, clip.
Yeah, sure.
You got it all sorted out?
Definitely.
Oh yeah, last time I drove this thing, you had to push it up a certain way up into the floor.
gas pedal's never been great on this
It
one.
was just like a rod. It wasn't even like a pedal.
I've had a tendency of having cars that have bad gas pedals. It didn't work well. The Maverick was always terrible. So I've tried in the last few years to do better at it. The Metromite has the best one. It's the electric one.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's perfect. I'm gonna take the factory gas pedal out. We want to get exhaust on this thing too.
To your right, Ralph.
He just
you
went
went-
left.
you went left. He's like taking an easy way out. Are you in? No. This one is real. Ow! Did you just hit me?
No?
Yes, you did. Hey, this bolt is like all funky. It's it's funky diddle dandy. It's like this thing is curved. Dad, if you don't quit hitting me right now,
I'm over here working.
I'm literally working on your car and you're hitting me.
I'm working. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you ready?
Ah!
That's bad.
Stop. Go. Okay.
I think it's good.
Murph,
It's not the right size.
did you just wake up? Huh? You been sleeping all day?
Guys, this last month has been super hectic for us. Trying to get this Falcon done in time, it's totally consumed all of our time. But one thing that gave us a little bit of time back was factor meals. Now these things are ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes. They deliver them right to your door, fresh, never frozen, chef crafted, dietitian approved meals, and they taste delicious. You know, you don't have to go to the grocery store, you don't have to cook it, you don't have to wash dishes, you don't have to drive to town and burn all that fuel and pay for an overpriced meal that they probably fixed wrong anyway. So Factor has over 35 weekly meal options. Right here we've got herb chicken breast, creamy pork chop, garlic mushroom chicken thighs. They even have tons of snack options like juices, smoothies, breakfast, and small bites. They have several different categories depending on what you're interested in. They have protein plus, vegan, keto, calorie smart, and even gourmet plus if you're fancy. I mean, me and Marge the other day went to a food truck and it cost us like $40 for just me and her to eat. What's the world coming to? But I'm getting hungry, so let's go ahead and heat one of these up and show it to you. I mean, shoot, sometimes I can't even get the car in third gear in 2 minutes. We're going with the garlic and herb chicken breast. Man, it looks good. I prefer their protein plus options. I really like their chicken like this, and the pork chops are really good. See how nice that looks there? You're not gonna get that at your local fast food joint, for sure. Another nice thing is your order is completely flexible. So when we're out of town on a trip or something, we can just pause our order, or you can choose between 4 and 18 meals a week. So it works for everybody. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code SLEEPERDUDE50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus 20% off your next month of orders. That's code SLEEPERDUDE50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first Factor box plus 20% off your next month of orders. How cool is that? Big thank you to Factor for helping us out and sponsoring this video. It makes all this possible. Go give them some love. Let's get back on this Falcon. They got them in with some big Beastie Boy washers here. You want to have like a really big washer when you're doing something like that for seat belts for safety.
Oh, me. Oh, me.
So just to kind of get it in place, I'm going to run a self-tapper in it. Marge would just call her good with that.
Exactly.
But I'm actually going to bolt this in. I looked on the outside. It looks like this will be perfect. It actually appears like it's going to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to do this. I was expecting this to be kind of a nightmare. So I'm going to put a self-tapper in here to hold it. And I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom and put a 1/4-inch bolt. And we'll come back and put a 1/4-inch bolt in this other one. And maybe Marge will quit complaining about the gas pedal in this car.
Why is this?
There's I've never really figured this trick out. There's some way to get this in here. I just don't know what it is. Put your end in first. Get past the armrest and stuff. There's gotta be. There you go. Okay. So the top should have like a thing it hooks on up
I
here.
see it. Here.
So
Go up there.
pick up with it. Go all the way back
And then push
and
down.
down. It should lock in. Is your side locked in?
Yeah.
So we had to raise the floor about 3 inches. As you can tell, that's all back behind the back seat. So looks like we're gonna be just fine.
There we go.
I'm so glad the seat still fits in it. When we first started cutting on the floor, I'm like, oh no. We gotta keep the back seat.
The people want to know what is going on with your hair. What is this?
It makes it curly without giving it the heat.
So it's heatless curls?
Yeah,
Are those socks?
yeah.
Right here, push this bolt through there and I'll start the nut on there. Murphy wants some crackers.
Oh, he's gonna be your best friend now.
Oh, that was a breakthrough.
Warm.
Right down there is our 2 bolts holding our gas pedal to the floor. Right here is where this is gonna go through. You see it, Wong?
Yeah.
All right, I'll hold it. You start the nut. It's amazing what you can do with cables. Now this is connected on the other end with this ball, so we're gonna run it through from the pedal side and put this pin onto our gas pedal.
I need help.
What have you done? Well, don't drop your Mountain Dew. Here, I think your feet, maybe? Oh, okay. Here.
Oh no, Dad.
Here, I'll just run the other direction. Here.
Oh no.
How did you even contort into that situation?
I like dove.
Okay. Let's just get on out there. What do you say?
Oh man, I thought I was never gonna get out of there.
Yeah, I know. Me too. This is one of the things that Ralphie's been dying to install from the beginning. We got a ram air, cold air intake for this thing. So if you've ever watched anybody like Gail Banks, you'll know that air density is very important to making horsepower. This will give us a ram air effect at high speeds. We still have an air filter. Kind of gives it that old NASCAR look. I like it. Or like a Trans Am race car.
Where's the stud?
Well, we don't have one. So you're gonna have to get like a stud or a bolt that's the right height. The plan is right here where the voltage regulator used to be, we gotta cut a hole out. So this kit is from Spectre. I got it from Summit Racing. You basically cut out 4-inch holes here. This one's already louvered and got a hole here. I don't know what it was for originally. So we're gonna cut out 2 holes here. It comes with these flanges and the hoses and everything. We actually have a Monte Carlo brace here that we're wanting to install, but we don't know if they're gonna work together, and we really want the colder intake for sure. It doesn't really fit. It's like the metal on the pedal is too wide. Oh, come on. It's not gonna fit together? It came in a kit. I had to file it just a little bit thinner to make that fit.
So that should be the very center.
After a little filing, I finally got the 2 things I bought together off eBay to fit together. Let's see if that's enough throw or if I need to lift this pedal up higher. This is the little pivot ball thing that came with the throttle pedal kit. It's like 1 size too small, this hole here. I'm gonna drill it out real quick. Oh, should fit now. You all right? I'm cutting the cable here, which is scary. Oh, where'd you go? Oh man, that just like disappeared when I did that.
You definitely should have held it.
Every time I feel like I do this, they like unravel on me and it's a nightmare. Wow. Okay, is that stripping out of me? It came with the wrong size Allen wrench.
That's crazy.
Is this supposed to be making that noise?
I don't think so.
I'm definitely doing something wrong.
Right there is full throttle. How close to the floor are you on the pedal? Is it touching the floor or no? Okay, let off the pedal. I might need to adjust that then. You got that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's center right there. Go ahead. Ooh, she's gone. Okay, just be careful, don't smash it. There you go. There you go. I'm going to try to mark this one. It's a little more challenging because it's already got a hole here. Woo. See, I grew up with them WS6 Firebirds with the ram air hood. You know what I'm talking about. SS Camaros with the ram air hood, Mach 1 Mustangs with the ram air hood. It's just too cool to not have ram air, you know? Okay. It's like cutting out of there in pieces. You got the dryer hose?
Yeah.
Where's our other bracket at?
Hey, Dad.
What?
With all dear love and sorrow for our dryer hose, I didn't even really pull.
Did I just tell you this off camera?
So sorry.
I literally just gave you a talking about how these are super fragile. If you grab the end of that wire, it's going to unwind on you. It'll be all right. We have more than enough, but you just gotta be careful at the end. That's really good on the middle, but you can rip the end loose.
I kind of want to see you do it now.
Let's hit. How do you call wean in again? Where did Squeeze Slink out to?
I don't know.
She's probably out there in the creek or something, hunting for frogs. Just can't get her much involved in working on the cars yet. Maybe one day. She did find a Jeep she liked, didn't she?
Yes.
And she didn't like when I looked at it because it had a bent frame.
Right.
And she didn't see that. She likes the Jeeps.
Which one is this?
Does it like thread into
I
it?
think that's what it does.
Right here's the start of your threads then.
Hey, that's cool.
I'm gonna cut it just a little bit long just in case here. They're literally the same length. I cut it right in half. I would recommend taking these out of the box like before you start working on it because they put them inside the tube and they get all warped up. I heated this up with a heat gun.
Looks cool.
I love it.
Looking good.
I like how it looks. Let's try our bar up here. I think it's supposed to go there. It looks like that might work, but I think what we're gonna do is move it forward just a little bit. Right about there. That actually lines up with a fender bolt hole. Does that line up for you?
Yeah, right there.
I think we'll put it right there.
Could you just use one bolt?
No, it's got 4 bolt holes. We're gonna put 4 bolts in it, son.
No.
This is what we call FaceTime.
How many times a day do you do that?
A lot.
She's so funny with it. She just like, it's all of a sudden like
What you doing?
attached. She's like, I just want to put my face against your face.
Imagine that the bolt is spinning on the backside. Oh, it came out. I got the vice grips on it. Go for it. Come out?
Yeah.
We're just gonna drill the new holes now.
Hey, I think that's strong enough right there.
One bolt like mom.
Look. That ain't never coming out. Feel it.
Yeah, it needs a little more, bud.
Yeah. It's all worked up.
We got this Monte Carlo bar from Auto Crafter, so go check them out. If you got a classic Ford, they got everything you need. They got catalogs as well, and a website, and a phone number, so go check them out. We really like those guys over there.
This is one of the best looking engine bays we've ever had. Like all the chrome and the dark.
It was kind of unintentional because that only comes in chrome, to my knowledge. I guess we could have painted it black.
I think it looks good.
The main goal was to just do everything in aluminum, and it just ended up all being shiny. There was not a plan of making it super shiny. I'm not really much of a show car person, honestly. I'm more of a go car person. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm with you guys. I have no idea what's going on.
There we go.
So the purpose of this is,
We need this thing rigid because she's an autocross car. We don't need it flexing and doing all this stuff, so we just need it sturdy.
yeah, hopefully between all this and all that, it'll be much better. I really like this setup because the factory thing was this wide that we cut out in the last videos. I don't think we could have fit this breather.
No.
And we have the lower brace too that goes underneath the oil pan to hold the frame rails in place. We're trying to put all the bracing we can in this thing. And we also put the subframe connectors in it.
Yeah.
It should be a lot better. But getting the air through here, it's going right into the engine. We should definitely see a difference when we're moving. The faster we're moving, the more of a difference that should be. I've seen cars that were forced induction turbo cars. If you check out Tuned by Shane T, pro level tuner. They made a deal where it was like an air inlet this big down on the car, that went to the turbo, and I forgot how much boost that car gained from that. It was already a turbo car. You're compounding what the inlet pressure is. So if the inlet is down here by the exhaust manifold getting hot air and not getting anything, bad air density, you put it out there, you know, at 200 miles an hour going down the track, if you got 5 PSI of air going in it, you're gonna compound that when it goes in the turbo, and it's gonna raise your boost level, make more power. Anytime you can get cold air forced in the engine, it's a good thing. At really high speeds, it would probably have a big effect on power, especially there. But that's gonna be it for tonight, guys. It's late. We got a really late start today. It was like 4 p.m. before we got started videoing. Now, we've been working on this car all day, but we didn't start videoing until 4 p.m. because of all of our valve train things we're trying to figure out.
She
is faster than them.
She's so fast.
Look, she's already caught Law. She is so fast, she is on you.
No, baby.
There's a fox up here. He took off. That squirrel and belt right him off. All right, next day, I'm going to be working on important things like getting the clutch to work and getting the rear brakes to work. We have this factory slotted hole here where the throttle rod originally came out. So I'm gonna take this high pressure line coming from the slave cylinder and go right through here, head towards our master cylinder. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is our clutch master cylinder here. So these American Powertrain ones, it has a swiveling fitting, which is very nice. So we can swivel it the direction we need it. Just go 7/16 and tighten this up. Cool fact about American Powertrain, they're from my hometown and their business is on the same road as my grandma. How crazy is that, huh? I'm very excited to be working with them on this one. So this is the same setup that I put in the 64 Galaxy wagon, which works awesome, especially if you have like a high performance stiff clutch. A hydraulic clutch has a lot better pedal feel than like a cable clutch or a mechanical rod clutch. We got that hooked up. Now there's a supply side, which has no pressure on it, and it's just a rubber hose that's hooked to the top of this. It looks like I'm probably gonna have to drill a hole for it to go out through the firewall. Conveniently, it has 2 knockouts here for, I guess, heater lines on a different engine combo or whatever. Tell us about how Mom talks to you when you're starting to weld.
Is that concrete gonna explode? You gonna burn it? Is that galvanized?
Anybody have any gas?
I swear I smell gasoline.
How did he turn into a tent revival preacher? I don't know. There you go. Whoa, boys. I didn't know what was happening.
I grabbed hold to it.
You did. Should be able to mount it like about there, you know? Probably need to go under these. That should be like a perfect length, huh?
Yeah.
It already comes with a clamp and everything.
You got a helper squeeze?
Yeah.
Ooh. It's looking good. I like that background.
I'm gonna mount with some 1/4-inch bolts. You got it held, Ralph?
Yeah.
Only thing we should have to do now is just bleed the system. The thing I like about it is the pedals look completely stock. It bolts right into the factory holes in your pedal assembly. It just makes going from an automatic car to a manual or from a mechanical clutch to a hydraulic super easy.
We're gonna fill this up with some DOU-D brake fluid. I don't spill it.
So now I'm gonna make our rear brake line. So I've got this bare adjustable proportioning valve. So I think you can take it down to like less than 50% brakes to the rear, and you can turn it all the way up to like 90-something%. So obviously when you're hitting the brakes with a front engine car, you're gonna use more of your front brakes than you are the rear. So I'm wanting to install this right up under here somewhere where we can easily get to it. Now right now we just have our rear brakes capped off with our brake light switch here. My idea is to put like a T there, still have our brake line fitting here, tee it off down to this. And if we have room, I might put this in here. This is a brake shutoff valve to completely shut off the rear brakes for burnouts. Because I don't know if like 50%, you probably still cook your brakes in a long burnout. I really don't like this style brake light switch. I don't think that it should be in all that brake pressure. I like the ones that are like on the pedal, because this is just introducing another problem in the brake system, especially when it was a single reservoir system from the factory. It's gonna come out of the master cylinder into this, down to this adjustable proportioning valve, and out back to the brake light switch, which will actually be able to take these adapter fittings out. Trying to crank these down. Brake system has a lot of pressure. And that's still got the Ford logo. It's probably the original one from '63, you know?
Mm-hmm. He's a good boy. No, you're not.
It looks like we can make about a 2-inch line, and that's about as tight as I can get this thing to the top away from the headers. Didn't you know you guys are best friends?
Where are we now?
Not really sure this is even gonna be possible. We'll see. This is about as short as you could possibly go and flare 2 ends of a brake line. It is literally the perfect length. You couldn't go any shorter than this. So if you're making a 3/16 brake line and you want it short, don't go any shorter than 2 inches or it won't be possible. If you had longer tube nuts, it would have to be longer than this. Oh, it's like a little dumbbell. That may be the shortest brake line I've ever made right there. This thing came with like a brass insert that goes in there, so you got to make sure that's in there right. There's a clearly marked inlet and outlet, okay? This is the tube nut that came with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this here because it's gonna be a lot easier to tighten up here than it will be down in there. Looks like that will just barely fit in there. As far away from the heat as I can get. He better back up. He don't know what he's messing with, does he?
All right, if you're about to get it.
I do not have enough room for this style brake shut-off valve, and I don't have a smaller one here. So, ooh,
Just saying.
is that a sombrero he's got on?
It's like a cowboy hat. I just made for it to be big.
I love
Very
him.
Unless we mount this under the car somewhere, it looks like we're gonna have to skip it for now.
And you can maybe get him if you go to thesleeperdude.com and buy my artwork.
So this is gonna be long enough. This is some leftover I had from another one. I think I've got enough room here to go up the frame rail. I'll probably have to drill a hole through that because I really don't want to go around it, you know, and the brake line be hanging down and just hit it with a jack, trying to jack the car up or something. It's got to go to about there. Yours needs to go to about there, so we got plenty of length to do that. Why is she gotta hang out around my feet all the time? I don't mess with your feet. Why you gotta mess with mine? I'm real quick to drill a hole in the car, aren't I?
Evidently.
Always make sure you got your tube nut on the line before you flare the end. I've done it a few times. It's about as fun as mom picking out your shoes for picture day. A little bit more. Look guys, I'm gonna give you a pro tip right here. You put the longer self-tappers in it, it's just like a clock. It's a longer time you got before she falls out. So you got twice as long as a self-tapper? That's twice as long you got before you have to worry about it. Y'all are welcome, that was free. If it's not a tight turn, I usually just bend all my hard lines by hand.
Wow, Squeeze, that looks awesome.
It's like 3D at the bottom, so it like looks like a.
You did so good. I like the clouds.
So that is gonna go something like that right there. Zip ties will be fine, right?
For sure.
As long as you cut the ends off, it's completely fine. What if I put it in here? It's gotta be able to be straight and then turn.
For sure.
So we could turn our rear brakes off on the DL. We could reach under there and do that, right? And if we did it like this, it wouldn't be hanging down. I'm thinking about putting the mufflers here and then turn them down right at the back. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'll regret it if I don't for the rest of my life. And there's something like that, Marge? I hope none of this leaks. Look, it's self-bleeding. I think we have finally got all the lines made. You can reach under the car and do that, and you have no rear brakes at all. Moment of truth, I'm putting some fluid back in there where it was dripping out. Honestly, if I had the option, I'd really like to let a car sit overnight. Gravity bleeds a lot of things out. The one on the left is the clutch pedal.
I know this.
The one on the right is the brake pedal.
My car.
We're going to bleed, we're going to bleed both of them. I think we're going to start with the clutch though.
Alrighty.
You got it held down?
Yeah.
Okay. Loose. Yep, she's loose. You're starting to feel a pedal, aren't you?
Yeah.
See what it does there? That's disengaged, that's engaged. There we go. All right, let me recheck the reservoir before we run dry. We didn't use a whole lot of fluid. We got about a third of it left.
Can you make it? Come on.
Okay. I think we're good on the clutch. So that's how it's supposed to look when it works right there. Pretty cool setup. It really simplifies everything in here. For once in my life, I'm trying not to get brake fluid everywhere on the hoops, since we got nicely painted hoops. This may take a while because it's got a long way to go. All this I know doesn't have brake fluid in it. All right, pump it up again. You want to start with the farthest one from your master cylinder. So this is the longest run. That's why we're starting at this back passenger corner. All right, hold it down. I heard something. Does that feel like anything?
Nope.
All right. Let up and hit it again hard. Our brake shutoff valve is leaking. If you look on the floor, puddle of brake fluid. Not to be confused with this incredible puddle of brake fluid that's even more impressive. Over here, it's running down the frame rail. I think it may be coming from the brass fitting above that. So that's a major bummer. Oh look, I see a leak right there. Is that the leak and it's running down the other ones?
Yeah, it's definitely a leak.
Oh, I see, okay. It's already like super tight in there. I don't know if I should have used thread sealer. I know brake lines have a lot of pressure, and I'm not sure what sealer you can use on threads like that with brake fluid. Yeah, that didn't help one bit. I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to thread sealer everything, take it all back apart. We don't normally have brake leaks like that.
No.
It's all brand new fittings and stuff too. But that's gonna have to be tomorrow because it has got leak. Good morning, me and Marge are out and about. I'm headed to the local muffler shop to buy exhaust piping and go by O'Reilly's to get my intake gaskets and stuff I got. So I've never bought exhaust piping here before, so we'll see if this works. Hopefully that's enough stuff to get us going.
I hope so.
So we got our intake gasket now. This is actually the ones that they recommend for those heads exactly. So it's a different gasket than we ran last time. And some of you are probably screaming at your television sets about that heater hose. So I got the correct fitting for the heater hose. They actually had this at the parts store in stock. So if you are wanting one for your car, go to your local parts store and there's your part number right there. So that just makes a 90-degree turn. So I'm gonna do that while we got it apart. I bought some new radiator hoses too that might work because I really don't like the way that used upper one looks. And we've got some Permatex thread sealer. So this is what I'm hoping and praying will fix our fitting leaks. If this doesn't work, then we may have to start bypassing fittings. And we got a big package yesterday even from Summit Racing. So these are stainless steel rockers. And as you can tell, where we had issues with this hitting the corner of our valve cover, I don't think we're gonna have that issue anymore. So we have a lot less material there because it's steel instead of aluminum. And also if you notice the height between the roller and the top of the rocker, look how much shorter this is. So the two issues that we were having, this should solve both of them. The only thing you need to keep in mind is if you're using like stainless steel rockers, although they're super strong, good for like solid lift cams and a lot of valve spring pressure, they are a little bit heavier than aluminum ones. So you need to make sure you have enough spring pressure to run these at really high RPMs. So hopefully our spring pressure is good enough to go to the RPMs we're going to. We're not planning on going to nothing real crazy, but it does need to probably rev to 6,500 or so. But I'm gonna tear in these brake lines this morning. I'm gonna take it all back apart and thread seal everything and hope it works. Is that all you do is drink bottles?
She's good at it.
She's very good at it. Well, a bunch of hours have went by. I've been out here all day working on this thing, and I put the thread sealer on all the threads of all the fittings, and me and Marge worked for like an hour trying to bleed everything, and now we have no pedal at all. You know how we had a pedal with the front brakes?
Yeah.
Because we never broke them loose? We still never broke them loose, and we lost pedal overnight. Something went bad overnight. All I was getting was fluid and no pressure on any corner. My brain says that the master cylinder failed for whatever reason. It's only been in there 4 months. So I called the parts store. They're supposed to be ordering me another one out of like a Crosser Town and Country van. It's a 0.85 inch bore. They're aluminum. I run them on everything here, and I've never really had one fail that quickly. I'm hoping that it failed because I don't know what else would be wrong. So we don't know if we fixed our leaks or not. It wasn't leaking, but we weren't getting much pressure. And I just went to putting the motor back together. So I put the intake back on it, put our new rocker arms in there. They seem to be clear and everything. We have compression on all 8 cylinders.
That's surprising.
You gotta try checking the compression on 8 cylinders by yourself with a wrench and your finger in the spark plug hole. Even fixed our plug wires that were all over the place. put our fitting in our intake so the hose doesn't stick up in the air like crazy. We should be good to try to fire it up once the RTV dries. But right now, I think we're gonna get started building the exhaust system for this thing. This is the mufflers I ordered.
And cherry bombs.
I think they're called Cherry Bomb Salutes. They're straight through design, so they have no chambers. It doesn't have to go anywhere. It basically goes shoot right like that. If you look inside of it, it's like a perforated tube and it has like some packing around it. I love the sound of a chamber muffler like a Flowmaster, you know, because Merca. But from what I understand, chamber mufflers don't flow as well as a straight through design. So this is like the cheapest straight through muffler I found on some of its websites, like 30-something bucks, but it's stainless steel. So that doesn't make sense, does it? The only place we really have a good spot to put mufflers is in this kick up here, close to the drive shaft, but not too close. I got these. These are 2.5-inch inside diameter. They slide right over this, and they slide right onto that pipe there, and it gives us a better joint than just butt welding them. I was also planning on just doing turn downs here because I'm sure a good muffler guy could go over this rear end, but without an exhaust bender here at the house, it would kind of be a pain. So what, about 41 inches, something like that?
Yeah.
The good news is this collector unbolts, so we can tack all this in place, take it down, and weld the tops of it, which is very nice to have exhaust actually removed. If that's true, we could use just one piece probably of this. If you're wondering what this costs from the local exhaust shop, it was $40 a stick that's 7.5 feet long.
Pretty expensive.
Gotta get all that flow, don't we? Yeah. This is gonna be a super simple exhaust system. That's good right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just angled a little bit. It's
Yeah.
not like a giant guy.
It's my car, not theirs, right?
Yeah.
Let's tack it in place.
Woo!
You need to tack both sides, not just one.
Twist it towards the wall just a little. Yeah, perfect.
I think I'm gonna use this style. I bought a couple of these from the parts store. We can just weld straight to that right there, I think. So we gotta get our angle right. We need to bend this. What's our angle here, Ralphie? Like that?
Perfect.
You got it on that one. Yeah, I can't really go higher because we're gonna get too close to the floor. Okay. All right, let's unbolt this and you can weld it.
Woo!
Now, this is a lot better way to do it than welding it into the car permanently like I've done a lot of times. Yeah, if you can unbolt it, that's the best way. V-bands are really the best way. Just be careful with it until we get it completely welded.
Okay.
Hey, I'm expecting dimes, Ralphie. Dimes.
Oh, I'll give him them dimes.
This one looks about the same, right at 41 probably. We had like 8 inches to spare, Marge. We didn't even have to buy 2.
Who knew?
We'll have it for the next one.
Yeah.
We got an issue on the cross member. Looks like this one, for whatever reason, the header is slightly higher. I think we're gonna have to knot this. It's funny that one side was and one side wasn't. You get her done?
Yeah. There's some dimes. I thought you were about to grab it. There's some
I
dimes.
see it. Nice.
There's some dimes, too. There's some dimes. There's some dimes.
Nicely done. If it falls off.
We'll lose a blame.
Exactly. Come on. And back. You know. And it's really not that much. Just barely touching it. There'll be plenty to get us cleared. Taking this factory emergency brake cable out, it's actually messed up, but I still don't want to ruin it just in case. I don't know how hard it's going to be to get another one. See if our plasma cutter will go through this. You all right?
Yep.
You got me. Oh. Might take it easy. I don't want to catch a carpet on fire, huh?
Yeah.
There you go, we got clearance. Is there gonna be enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Surely.
We're at the same exact height as the other muffler. We need this to be angled about like that.
How good is it going to sound?
It's gonna sound like a dog leg, son.
Some of it pop. Go pow pow pow.
I think it's pretty similar mufflers to what we put on the Metro Mount, which sounded awesome.
What do I hit?
It should flow pretty good. It just goes straight, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's all right. We've probably got like about an inch right there. I'm just gonna install it. I don't know why it's different, but the header just sits down lower. It better be easy. I'll go right through my planter. Oh! I literally see the bottom of the seat there. Oh! Gets me every time. Get these bolts in here. You always want to have plenty of support for your exhaust system because I've had bad experiences with losing exhaust systems on the road several times in my life. It's not fun picking your exhaust system up off the road, especially on a long trip. This is the width of our cross member. Plan on welding a piece back in there so it's not weak, you know. I've already cut it down the center to fit our transmission. Do you want the marker? What do you want, buddy? I'm gonna cut this to length and then cut it in half and use it. We can use this as a pattern, so we won't need any more than about there.
There's some downs. Those are down.
Oh, nice. Marge is going to get us the master cylinder. They said it just came in.
I'll be back.
Hey, keep it under the speed limit. 5 over.
Yeah, I'll try.
Train wreck right there. I'm welding just a little bit and I'm cooling it down just to be safe. Gives you the clearance you need right there. Like it never even happened. Put it on this car. Just push and bolt through. It goes right there. You get a nut on them or anything?
Oh.
Or is it gonna fall down and chop my legs off?
I need you to push those in.
Let me get this hanger
Wait,
right
you
here.
already did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm quick, bro.
Wow.
We did pretty good. We didn't even have them in there together when we did it. They line up pretty
Yeah,
even.
they look pretty good.
It'll be fine. They won't see it when it's down on the ground. And you guys won't tell anybody. Pretty solid. Is that good enough for you?
Yeah, it's good enough for me.
So not bad. We did all this for, I think it's about 120 bucks. In today's world, I mean, you can't get a pack of Coke from the DG for that. You know?
That's what I'm saying.
Not bad. I don't think I've ever had a car with exhaust exiting like that before, so we'll see how it does. I think while I'm waiting on Mom, I'll start working on doing the tack and the volt gauge. We had a couple spare wires up here. I'm trying to see if any of them have power only when the key's on. Hey, there we go. 12 volts to the key on. Turn the key off. Nothing. Okay. So I could use this wire since we're not using it. I know this was to the oil pressure gauge, but I don't know what this was. The volt gauge is really simple. It's just a positive and a ground to the back of it. We're also hooking up this Autometer retro style tack. Looks very similar to the factory style tack that the Sprint Edition Falcons had. I believe they were like up here, but I cannot bring myself to drill a hole in that dash because it's never had one drilled in it. So I think it's gonna get zip tied around steering column right here. I mean, we really don't need to know if we're going between 10 and 80. When do you ever drive those speeds? And then maybe one day, when I've seen enough other Sprints to know exactly where it goes, I might mount it up there. But I just don't think I can do it today. I need to go ahead and remove this shifter pipe, huh?
Yeah, skedaddle that off there.
It always worked for me. Transmission didn't really work, the old one, but
That was a good shifter arm.
you'd go in any gear anytime you wanted it to.
She's back.
Marge is back. You just left, I thought.
Yeah.
Cool deal. I didn't even get the wiring done yet.
What's taking so long?
I got the exhaust done.
Oh, that's good.
I think the tape was the only thing holding it. Look at that. That is a copper pipe. What have they even done here?
That's terrible.
They make something out of that, okay? I'm almost sad to see that go, you know? We had a good run, you know?
Yeah.
I got a plan. If I lay it over to the side and then reclock it in the bracket, we can still see our speedometer and the tack. Ha!
Oh! Hello there.
He has engineered and re-engineered so many things lately. Okay. I think that's better, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like straight in view, but I can still see my speedometer and stuff. This thing wires up the way I thought it would. So the green wire goes to the negative signal on the coil. So it gets the pulse signal from the distributor, you know, the points or whatever. Red one goes to a switch 12 volt, black one goes to ground, and white goes to your dash lights. So when you turn your headlights on, this comes on. But I'm gonna hold off on this until we get our brakes working. Thankfully, we shouldn't have to modify anything. We already took the same one out of here. I feel like I may have had to drill these holes out. Yep, we're gonna have to drill the holes. Never mind.
What are you doing there? Did you know that we have our own merchandise that you can get at thesleepydude.com? We got hats, we got hoodies, we got t-shirts, all the goodies. Keychains, stickers, artwork, whatever you want, whatever you need. You can check us out on our second channel at Sleepy Dude 2. Check out our third channel at Sleepy Dude Arm. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sleepy Dude AA. And Sleepy Dude on Rumble. Thanks for your support. So we're going to put down the sound deadener to keep the heat off our buns, son.
Yeah, the mufflers are really close to the bottom of the back seat. I really hope this was the problem.
Let go.
Well, that was very quick and easy. Get some fluid in it and see what happens, I guess. If this does work, at least we can bleed the rears first. If you're wondering about like the front position or the rear position, from everything I've seen, most master cylinders, the front port goes to the rear brakes and the rear port goes to the front. Now, I don't think that's always true, but that's what I've read.
So about that spot weld right there. Yeah, that's where it rolls over. Boom! Don't look at that.
Hold it down.
Okay.
Then hold it up.
Are you sleeping on the job? Hey. You're supposed to be working.
Got a lot of air in it. Is that feeling different?
Oh yeah. It's easy until like this, and then it gets super hard all the time.
We've been under here trying to bleed it for about an hour now. See that, Ralphie? So the fitting that I gooped up this morning, is it on the white part?
White part.
Okay.
JB, weld that sucker.
I guess if there's any good news, it's not dripping up here anymore, which is where it was dripping like crazy yesterday. Hopefully our leak up there is fixed. It looks like I'm gonna have to make a new line and not have the brake shut-off valve.
Oh, you can't do that.
That's what I told myself. Well, it's late and I'm gonna go in and cry now. We did get a lot done. I'm excited we got the engine back together. We got the exhaust done on the car. I guess I'll be back out here tomorrow making another brake line. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Guys, it's already been like another half day out here working this morning. So I just deleted our brake shut-off valve for the rear, unfortunately. Ran a new line, and me and Marge finally got the brakes bled. So I think we're finally okay on our brake system. And while I was at it, I went ahead and wired in our tach and our volt gauge. I think we've got most everything done as long as this thing runs all right. But I want to go ahead and do the alignment first. I want to give that RTV plenty of time to dry. So I actually got a new tool to do the alignment. I've never used it. I've always wanted something here at the house to do alignments with. When I worked in the body shop, I got to use the alignment rack there. Ever since then, we've kind of set the toe and let her go. But this one we really need to do caster, camber, and toe. Now I've actually already checked the wheelbase. It's correct. I checked our pinion angle. It's correct. So it's got 4 degrees of downward pinion angle. I think it's 109.5 inches wheelbase. So we're all good there. Oh, and another thing I did was I wrapped the wiring harness with electrical tape. So it looks much better. I'm going to get some of those zip ties that have clips built into them that clip in. I did fill it up with coolant as well. I put antifreeze in it this time because hopefully this is for good. You don't want it to freeze this winter. Before we start our alignment, we got to get our rod height where it's going to be, because if you change the front rod height, that's going to affect it. This side is settled a little bit, I guess, from us rolling it back and forth on the lift and, you know, leaning over the fender for days on end. Because I've got only 1 thumb width here. Let's go to the other side, I'll show you. And this is clearly 2 thumb widths, okay? And this has room, like I can get my hands in here. So I'm going to raise it up. I may even raise this up just slightly. I really don't want to do a lot of work to my fenders. If we raise the front up just barely, we're gonna have to raise the rear up just barely, because right now the front's like 1 inch lower. I really don't want the car sitting completely level. Usually that looks goofy. It looks like the front end's too high in my opinion. So we'll probably raise it up just slightly all the way around. I'm getting some preliminary measurements here. So that's 6 3/8. So my math says if we want to raise the other side up like a 1/2 inch in the front, and we want this to be level, we're gonna have to raise that side a 1/2 inch, this side 1 1/8 inch. We're gonna have to raise it 3/4 inch on that side and 1 1/4 inch over here. Let's try that. So you're supposed to have the weight off the suspension when you do coilover adjustments. I can see why this one's sitting lower. This is supposed to be bottomed all the way down against the coilover. So at some point, I didn't set it correctly. So it's got a little bit of anti-seize on the threads. That's that silver you're seeing. So this would put it even with the other side right there. I'm gonna go down till we have about another 1/2 inch of threads here. I think that's really gonna help us out on our fender fitment issue. I think that's a good place to start right there. This is our jam nut here. I'm gonna screw it down on top there so this doesn't back off on us. I'm gonna give this the same amount here. I measured from the top of this to the top of this, and it should be about 4 inches is what the other one was. It actually comes with this tool, which really nice. It fits in there and turns this if it gets hard to do. Does it look any higher?
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good.
Jounce it though. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a lot better. Still tucking the tread, but not the whole sidewall right there. That should give us some clearance. And if I did it right, we should be right at 7.5 inches. And we are. I set this plate here to give it something to slide on when we turn it and everything and check our caster and stuff. On an alignment rack, they have like plates with little ball bearings under them, which is really nice, but I ain't got that. So you can use something like this or a ceramic tile or something. So this side was just a little bit lower for some reason, so I'm giving it a few more turns to get us completely even. And once I get my quesadilla eating button there, it's gonna sit even lower. So we definitely need to make sure this side's correct. There we go. We are dead even with the other side. Look how that helped us.
Oh yeah, that's a lot better.
That's gonna be better. Hopefully this won't rub unless we really hit a hard bump in a turn or something. You can see I've got it completely topped out. So we've got about 1 inch there. They recommend the base setting to be right down here where it just touches the spring. So I'm gonna start there. See, that lower bar is sitting dead level right there. The panhard bar, track bar here is sitting level. And you see that 4-link bar is completely level. Yeah, it didn't bring it up a ton. I thought it would bring it up more than that, honestly. I think we'll leave it right there. It's not quite 1 inch higher in the back. It's about a 1/2 inch higher in the back. That's where they recommend the base setting to be too. So we'll just see. I mean, really, it won't fully settle till we drive this thing good, you know?
Yeah.
We'll have to probably adjust it after we drive it. We'll start from there. So I took a minute and read through all the instructions with this kit. The way this thing works, it's got slots here, and it comes with 2 measuring tapes, and you basically can check your toe right here, but that's the last thing we're gonna do. Because if you change your caster or camber or anything like that, it's gonna affect your toe. So you wanna start with caster, then do camber, and then do toe. It also comes with this level here. It tells you how many degrees you're going and everything that bolts onto here. We have to turn the wheel 20 degrees one way, zero out this, turn it back to 0, and then 20 degrees the other way and take that reading. We don't have like plates here that give us degree readings. So I took my little gauge here, marked 0 and 20 and 20, and this will give me a visual representation to go off of. So it really doesn't matter where this level is at yet, because we're gonna zero it out once we turn it. And the caster, if you don't know, is the relationship between the lower pivot point and the upper pivot point. So a lot of times on an old car, it'll be 0 straight up and down. Usually the more modern a car is, the more that angle goes positive like this. Detroit Speed recommends like 7 degrees on this. We're gonna try to hit somewhere around there. Honestly, if we don't hit that number exactly, it's not a big deal. The main thing is cross caster. So basically making sure that both of them are the same. So you don't want one at 5 and one at 3 or something. Cross caster will make the car pull and do stuff like that going down the road. I'm gonna hold the brake so that it doesn't roll. Okay, zero that out, Ralph. Tell me when it goes to 0.
There.
Not very slotty, huh? What's our number?
5.20.
What we do now is we take 5.2, multiply it by 1.5, and that tells us what it is.
7.7 or something.
So we pause to use the calculator. It's 7.8. Like I said, they say 7 degrees plus or minus a half a degree, so we're right there. I'm not gonna change anything yet. We're gonna go measure the other side. Okay, right there, what's our reading?
4.4.
So they're a little off from each other. So 4.4 means that's 6.6 degrees. So we're 1.2 degree difference between the two. I'll probably bring this one back just a little at the lower ball joint position, and then we'll bring the other one forward and see what we can get there. You can move it with the strut rod that's adjustable on this suspension, or you could shim the upper control arm either way. We're gonna try the lower one first, it's a little easier to do. This is how you adjust it here. It's basically got like an inner tie rod joint here. So this thing has like a ball in there and it's allowed to spin. It's so much nicer than the way the factory was. This was a separate rod on the factory that bolted to the lower control arm. And then it had like, remember big rubber bushings here? This one's completely adjustable. So we'll take the jam nut loose. So we got about that much. I don't think it'll take that much though. It's only got 2 flat spots. So I'm going to turn it with this. Move it as far as I can with that. I'll probably use about half that adjustment and try measuring it again. So now this one, we're going the opposite way, just a little bit. This one doesn't need much movement at all. I may give it like a turn or something. We'll call that good on this side.
5.10.
5.1?
Yeah. 4.8.
So we've got less over here now. Yeah. We have 7.2 degrees on the left front now and 7.6 on the right. We're getting real close. I'd like to have as much caster as possible, so I'll probably leave the right side where it's at and get this side close as I can to 7.6. So we actually need to go back the way we came from on this one, just barely. If we would have left it where it was, it would have been better off, honestly, because we were at 7.8, we'd have been closer. Shouldn't take a big adjustment here. What are we at?
5.10.
That's exactly the same as the other side.
Yeah.
Now that we have our caster set, we need to set our camber. So our camber is how far in or out the top of this hoop is. Detroit Speed recommends half a degree of negative camber, so in at the top. But a lot of what I've read about autocross stuff, a lot of guys usually go like 2 or 3 degrees in if it's like a track car that you're going to run around the autocross. And that's how I'm going to initially set it. If we did a long road trip or something, we might want to set it, you know, half a degree in like that. So for track use, which is what we're doing with the car right now, I'm going to set it somewhere around 2 or 3 degrees. We're going to set our camber with the shims and the upper control arm. So as long as we take an equal amount out on the front and rear bolt, our caster won't change, just our camber will. Let's measure it and see what it is now. First thing you want to do is level this to the ground that it's sitting on, which ours is our lift here. It's saying we're half a degree off, so I'm going to zero that out. Now, if we put it flush against this, that should tell us what our camber is. So we're negative 0.2. So we're basically straight up and down. We do not have enough negative camber. Let's go check the other side. 0.3, so very similar. I would like to gain at least probably 2 degrees on that. So we're going to have to take some shims out. From memory, I think it has 2 sets of 1/4 inch shims. And thankfully, the Detroit Speed ones are the front and the back shims all in one piece. So I think we can take out a 1/4 inch shim and see where we're at there. In order to do this, I've got to jack the car up to get the weight off those shims. These upper control arm bolts is what I've got to loosen up. There we go. This side's gonna be fine, but I'm afraid the other side, we may have to cut those bolts off because it's right up against the header. So I've got 2 1/4 inch shims in here. I'm gonna take one out. I was gonna do both sides at the same time, but I really wanna see how much this changes it. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower it down. Only 1.1. So that gave us 1 degree. So 1/4 inch looks like it'll give you 1 degree. I'm gonna have to take the other shim out. So I'll take both out of both sides then, which definitely means I'm gonna have to cut the bolts off on the other side because they're already touching the header. You gotta keep squeezy cool. Well, let's get it. There we go. So now it has no shim. Cutting about a ½ inch off this. Well, we ran out of time tonight to work on it. Got church and was driving. Guys, I was out here working until 9 o'clock last night, cutting these bolts a little bit at a time because it was running in the header, especially on the other side. So I would run in to touch the header, cut some off, run in more. Guys, today will be right at 1 month I've been working on this car just nonstop. What I'm doing right now is not sustainable for the channel. I pretty much spent all days out here working. A lot of it's really time consuming stuff, and I just set up a time-lapse camera and I might work for 6 or 8 hours and it'd be 9 seconds on the video. So I'm really trying to put in the work to get this car done for Ford Fest. I'm so far behind right now in editing, just giving you a little behind the scenes. I think today's the day though. I think today we're finally gonna get to start this car up and drive her off the lift and give her a test drive. That's the plan.
Woohoo!
Let's see if no shims give us the correct camber. We are at 2.6 degrees, which is right in between where I wanted to be, 2 and 3 degrees. Let's go see about the other side. 2.4 degrees. So I'm happy with that. That puts it right in the range where I wanted to be. So now we have the caster where we want it. We have the camber where we want it. We just got to set the toe.
And let her go.
Exactly. Murphy's helping this morning with the alignment. There's no telling what he's going to do.
He's shopping is what he's doing.
I know.
I didn't got a lid from him.
So it comes with measuring tapes, if you can believe that.
Cool.
So you can see our measurements at the rear are much shorter than our measurements at the front. We're actually towed out quite a bit, like over an inch, which is a good thing for me because if you remember when we did the front suspension upgrade to the 64 model V8 drag length and stuff, in order to get the wheel straight, I had to max it all the way in. So that means we got to bring those out in order to get the toe correct. Autocross specs I've seen online say you want to tow it out about 1/8 of an inch. And it wouldn't track that great going down the road at high speeds, but if you're in a parking lot trying to go really fast, it's good for it to, be able to turn and dart real quick. There's a lot more in this than I even fully understand. I think these specs will be good for us for what we're trying to do. Really the best tool I've used when I did alignments for these collars like this is a pipe wrench. So one's left-hand threads, one's right-hand threads, and as you turn this measure will get farther out. We want to do an equal amount on both sides, so you don't want it all adjusted out of it on one side. You see it moving, Marge?
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, I think that's it. Right there.
Okay. So our front measurement right now is 70. Our back one is 69 7/8. So we are 1/8 inch towed out. So everything should be where it's supposed to be finally. I'm really excited to have this. It's kind of a slow process. I'm used to using a computer to do it. This wasn't sponsored. I bought this, but if you're wanting to know what it is, it's Quick Trick brand, and I bought it from Eastwood. And if you buy it from Eastwood, you can get 10% off by using code Josh10. But totally unsponsored product. And we're gonna set this thing down and test drive it. I'm gonna roll it out close to the door so we don't fumigate ourselves. That was close. Right work. Look at this thing on the ground, guys. I'm gonna admit, I like it when I see cars that are cambered in a little bit. I'm not talking about like the Ricer cars that are cambered out and they go like 10 miles and run out of tread. I'm talking about cars that look like a track car, They like, has just enough to where it's serious, Guys, I think we're ready to try to fire her up. We also want to weigh it before we drive it. This has been so much work getting to this point. We started doing the suspension in the front 4 months ago. We fought it with everything we did on this thing. Like, there's even stuff that got edited out. Sometimes a problem doesn't make sense to leave it in the video because it took a long time and it's not very interesting to watch. I had to rewire things in this video. So, all right, let's see if she'll start again. Okay, hit the starter. Hear the mufflers?
Sounds good.
Well, our timing's good. I guess right this time. I love the way it sounds. Oh, man. Just shaking the trunk.
There's that thing. Got a Hemi.
Oh, yeah.
Like music. Man, it sounds good.
It's trying.
turn them in until it starts stumbling, and then you back it back out to where it runs good, and give it like a quarter of a turn more. Turn my fan on. Man, that sounds so good.
So good.
Like,
So good.
I know we've got a lot of cars that sound good now with all the stuff we've built and projects. The Grim one sounds awesome. The Galaxy sounds awesome. It'd be a hard one between this and the Metro Mite.
Yeah.
They both sound really good. They have really similar muffler designs too. Yeah. We're gonna take this out of here. Hopefully we've bled the cooling system completely. Any guesses on what she weighs now? So hold on, well, I'll tell you. It weighed 2450 with everything dry, with the motor in it, transmission in it, but not this rear end and not these hoops, which are heavy. These hoops weigh like 50 pounds each. But it was all dry, so there was no coolant, there was no oil.
I'm saying 2650.
3,350.
It's aggressive.
2750.
I know that rear axle is heavy because it's beefy.
I think I'm going with 3,000. Just 3,000.
You're 3,000, 2650,
2750.
2750. You want to guess?
2,800.
I'm gonna say 2850.
I got left rear.
Get it centered up, okay? It has to be completely centered. What is it?
Oh,
2890.
2890. I had 3,000.
Mine was 2650.
Yours was 28.
So mine was 28.
I was 27.
She was 28. I guess I won.
Yeah, you won.
I guess I won.
I feel like this happens all the time.
So, is there anything in the car that we need in here? Let me get these mats out of here.
Oh my gosh, you getting the mats out? Quit.
This thing's 2850 for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Look at all that stuff in here. Look at all that.
I think you're overreacting.
28.89 now.
1 pound.
So we don't have the hood on it, which we do plan on racing with the hood. Probably not gonna put it on right now because on this test drive I want to see the engine. If there's something spraying out, I want to know about it. Look how even the weight bias is. That thing is only 51.8% on the nose. I would have not guessed that at all. We didn't set the engine back or anything. Isn't that crazy? It's
That's
almost
good,
a
though.
50-50 weight bias.
That's good, right?
Yeah, hey, we went down to 28.88 now.
Oh my gosh.
So she's light and she has a good weight bias. So all those are good things.
All good things. All good
Yeah,
things.
so it's gained 430 pounds with what we did to it. Okay, well, let's drive her. Who's riding in this car? Who's riding with Mom?
I'm riding here. I'm riding here. I'm a mom.
Okay. Oh, man. It's so much less squishy when you get in. Like, normally the car would, like, sag when I would sit down.
Is it gonna
I'm
be fast?
so excited. It should be. I mean, it's light. It has a powerful engine. It's a manual.
Sounds so good.
Yes, it does. I love the sound. Yeah, every time we rode in this car, it was a 6-cylinder, and it was like, stop. Well, the road down this way is pretty curvy. I guess we'll go that way. Oh, I'm so excited. Anything coming? Let's see if we got all of our gears. Second. Third. Oh man, it feels so tight. Like,
That's wild.
it feels so different.
I like it.
Yeah, it sounds great.
It does sound great.
So this thing has the old F-cam. It's like the Summit version of the F-cam. A little more aggressive than the original F-cam, but anybody that's like my age grew up with the Fox Body Mustangs with the F-cam. So nice. We got 4th gear. So the only one I haven't tried is 5th. We really don't need 5th right here. Our tack works, you see that?
Yeah.
Temp gauge works for about 180. 75 pounds of oil pressure, 14.5 volts. I'm gonna throw it in fifth just for fun. Oh yeah, we got fifth. Back to third. That's just like quarter throttle. I really don't like how the gas pedal feels. I need to lengthen the pedal to make it a little bit easier to push. I'm just worried I'm going to hurt something pushing it hard. We've been there before. Shifted it early. I think from the factory this rev limiter and the distributor saying like 5,000 or something. We're going to need more RPM than that. Out there.
Yeah, a little bit.
They just be burning stuff off the header.
Yeah.
Oh, something's smoking.
Oh, wow.
Is that just oil? Oil pressure's good.
I got the first. Temp's good. It's like 190 still.
We got a leak or something. We're gonna have to pull over and look at this. I'm gonna shut it off. Everything's still good. Leave that fan on.
Okay.
It's dripping oil out of our valve cover breather onto the header. So this is not baffled. I gotta quit using these push-in valve cover breathers. That's what always gets me. We've had this problem on more than one car.
Why is it smoking in here?
Right under that is the rocker, and it's probably spraying oil up into this thing. So we're gonna have to like baffle our valve cover or something. That's not too bad. Get back on the road. I was worried for a second, but that's not a huge deal there. We can fix that. Will she start back up? Of course. Our rear shelf has come delaminated. It doesn't need to be open like that. Most valve covers have like a baffle, and I think it may have came with a baffle, and I didn't install it, possibly. So I'll have to look into that. It may be something I've already got at the house to fix it. We drove it quite a ways. I think I'm going to turn around here and hit some curves on the way back. She sure is smoking though right now.
Yeah.
A little drop of oil though can create a lot of smoke on the header. How's our brakes feel? Feels like they're a little squishy still. Looks like we're going to bleed the brakes some more. Oh. Yeah, they're not stopping great right now. It's too squishy. Now the clutch feels great. We must not have got every bit of air out of this thing. It's meets, and the 4-link, it just hooked up and went. Temperature seems to be holding steady, but it is between 190 and 200. You hit your brakes. I saw your brakes over there. A lot of them pushed your foot down as the brakes. We almost got to 5,000 RPM there, so still got a little bit of smoke haze from the oil. Oil pressure's great, volts are great. We may need to put a pusher fan on it too, guys. A fan in the front and a fan behind the radiator, since we don't have room for a bigger fan on the back side.
Wow, that's crazy. Compared to what it was, it's like
It's night and day.
like nice.
It's not too crazy of a can where you can't just, idle it around. It takes off just fine at like 1200 RPM, and I can't complain at all. I think this fan flows like 1,000 something CFM, like maybe 1,300. And some of those big single fans will flow like 3,000 or more. It's probably something we're gonna need to look into. But it's running really good. I haven't noticed any dead spots in the carburetor. What do y'all think? You love it?
Oh yeah.
It just goes where you turn it, it's like it doesn't push, it doesn't do any crazy weird stuff, it just plants and goes. Love it, love it, love it. Long time in the making. We got this car running after it had been parked for like 25 years, paid $562 for it, got it running 3 years ago. She made it run back home.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
I just like listening to it sit there and idle like that. Will it did burn out?
Oh no. Yeah, it will. Oh my gosh. That is wild. That's crazy.
Not ready for you.
I was not ready for that. Wow. Oh
Well, it's a
my
clutch car. You gotta get on it,
That's crazy.
It didn't just sit there and spin, it was going. If you saw how Marge drove, she has been in and out of the ditches. She has been all over the place in that little Subi.
It's hilarious.
She's crazy behind the wheel. No scary things on the gauges, that's good.
Yeah, looking good.
Man, it sounds good.
Yeah.
She is a certified ripper. She is up about 215 right now.
That's not good.
The factory radiator size is a little small. We just got a few little things to sort out. Man, it handles awesome.
Looks so cool going
Brakes
down the
need
road.
bled though.
Do they?
Yeah, it's squishy. More brake bleeding.
Woo!
You can see there. It's not like overheating, but it's on the warm side. I don't want to lay right over the motor just in case the hose came off or something. I don't see any leaks aside from that drip from that filter there. It's just turned out so cool. So excited about it. I just want to get it ironed out and get it to a track somewhere and see what she does. 1 to 10 scale?
10 out of 10 was awesome.
Just from a distance, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
9 because the body work can be better.
Well, there is no body work.
Yeah. Well, they like chiseled it instead
Yeah.
of sanding it.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
12 out of 10.
Oh.
It's like, it's awesome.
What if it was blue?
If it was blue, it'd be about 100 out of 10.
We'll get there one day, guys. We plan on painting the car at some point. That's a very lengthy process. I don't think a lot of people understand, like, to do it professional, to do it correct, how long that takes.
And it's not gonna get right off hand.
No.
No.
And this is something I'm not going to shortcut. If we get into painting the car, it's going to take months to do it. You know what I didn't even think about? It didn't rub. I wasn't even like thinking about it. We were taking the turns, we were going fast, nothing rubbed.
That's great.
We didn't hear anything rub.
That's crazy.
So-
Yeah, it is rough.
Now you can sleep tonight.
Yes. We could not have done this without some awesome sponsors. Big thank you to Summit Racing. They were a huge part in making this possible. Hey, very nice. So go check out summitracing.com. We really appreciate their help. Also, Detroit Speed. The suspension seems awesome on this thing. It handles so much better than what it did before. So check out Holley and Detroit Speed. Also, Auto Crafters, they were involved with the restoration process of this car, doing floor pans and some suspension stuff, so we appreciate their help as well. And we can't forget Quick Performance. The rear end is super solid in this thing. It's nice to have a rear axle I don't have to worry about for once in my life. Also, American Powertrain clutch worked awesome. I would highly recommend their Hydromax underdash hydraulic clutch. Very good product. So big thank you to all those sponsors. We really appreciate their help. Go check them out, link in the description. I've been trying to put all the part numbers to the stuff we use in the description as well, but we could not have done it without help of awesome sponsors like that. Hey, come out and see us at Holley Intergalactic Ford Fest. I believe the time this video comes out, it'll be next weekend. September, is that 28th? Is that the date? We plan on doing the autocross in this thing. Hopefully it does great. Awesome event. Anytime you go to an event at Beach Bend Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky, it's a good time. They have a great facility there. We love it.
So much to do all weekend long.
That is the only show we plan on going to this year as far as like anything big like that. So come check it out. Watch us race. Check out our website at thesleeperdude.com. You can buy artwork, t-shirts. We got new stickers,
hats, paintings,
a little bit of everything. We're working on some new shirt designs as well. Check out our second channel app.
ZZZ-2.
Check out our third channel app.
$2.
And check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok app.
ZZZ-30048.
Future videos, we are going to be working on the Fairmont because we may have broke the rear suspension in the car. Yeah, that's a little sneak peek on upcoming videos. So we got some parts in to fix the rear suspension on it, and we may be going to see how much power she makes. You know?
Ooh. Well, let's go.
Secrets.
Can you jump?
You can.
It's just right there. It's just right there. He barely got off the ground.
And they can't jump on you.
He got that Mars jump, didn't he?
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
Guys, thank you for following along over the last 3 years of this car. I know it's a little on again, off again, but we built it, guys. Anybody that has the 411 on brakes for Ralphie's Cushman, please hit us up. It's a West Coaster Melser. We think it's from the 60s, right?
Yeah.
If you got any brake parts or know somebody that sells them, I found a place that sells them, but they only had one, and that doesn't help me. I need all three corners. All right, let's go see some baby goats.
Woo!
Look at that girl coming through here.
So modest. So gentle.
Look at the maternity ward up there. They're all piled around there jumping off stuff. You want some of them vainas? There you go. You always see them two together, don't you?
George, here.
George don't like them. Only these three like them, really. Oh, doubling up today. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Man, fingers in the mouth. You're braver than me. She took it from Rocky Jr. And this is what everybody's waiting on right here. Oh, wow. The wind's getting it, she said.
And remember, Jesus saves. And Dollar General's every 7 miles.
Exactly.
Woo!
Now I gotta get to editing.